entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey now everyone, guess what? That's right, you're hearing these smooth, silky tones, and it's not the typical week to be hearing a Star Wars Time podcast episode, but hey, you're hearing it, so that means something sprung up in between the last podcast and the planned one that Nick and I felt we needed to talk about, and that's no joke, right, Nick? I mean, today, Mr. Caminita came across a pretty major little leak. I mean, after we examined it and we studied it for you, we deemed that, hey, it's not as insane as the title makes it seem, but if you're definitely someone that does not want any type of hints or any spoilers whatsoever, it's definitely something you're not going to listen to. So once we get there, we're definitely going to warn you on that. But it's very interesting, and it's official because it's coming from a retail partner of Disney and Lucasfilms who clearly is brain dead, or there's an intern running their marketing department, because this is definitely information you would not want to get out this early in the game. I know we're only a few months away, but considering we still haven't even had the first full official trailer, remember people, the one in April was considered a teaser. We haven't even had an official trailer for the movie yet. And Nick, what are we now, brother? We're 3 months and a few days away?
Yep. Almost right at the 3-month mark. We're still waiting on the trailer, like you said, but it seems like the production of all of the toys, all of the merch is kicked into high gear, and that's where a lot of these leaks are coming from. I mean, last cast we talked about the BB-8 playset where we got the Snoke voice lines from. Now we're going to be talking about some other toys, some other merchandise. So, maybe Disney wants to rein in their merchandising branches, their partners, and say like, hey guys, I know y'all are excited about this new stuff, but why don't we just wait a little bit? Don't let anything leak.
So do you think Topps is just, they're rogues and did what they wanted to, or do you think that Disney may have even approved what they put out?
That was nowadays on the internet, it's hard to believe that anything like truly leaks without people knowing it, or without at least some people knowing it in the right places. Because shit like this, I mean, look what we're doing now. Like you said, we usually do the cast. We're
talking
every 2
about
weeks.
For free. I mean, yeah, we might not have a 5 or 6 figure audience, but even to the few thousand people we do talk to, we're essentially providing free promotion.
Exactly. So it's in their best interest to, maybe let some things leak. Nothing big, nothing massive. This thing that we're going to talk about today isn't, earth-shattering. It's not going to spoil the entire movie for you, but it's going to kick buzz. And that's what they want. Disney and Lucasfilm want buzz. So this is the way to do it. Let little things leak here and there. Don't give away too much. And then let the people talk about it. Let the hype train roll itself up. You don't have to spend any advertising money on it.
Damn Skippy. So we're saving that one for later in the cast, my friends. Don't worry. We have other things planned for you. Smaller things, what you'd call low-hanging fruit. But I think where I want to start, Nick was talking about the new toys coming out and this, that, and the other thing. And you know why, people? It's Force motherfucking Friday. They're calling it Force Friday 2 because I guess Force Friday only applies to the Skywalker releases. I technically am calling it Force Friday 3 because there were definitely events last year for Rogue One. Either way, brother, we got a deluge of new toys. And with the new toys come new looks at characters we may not have seen before but heard about. As well as we were talking about in the last cast, where you can have toys with lines of dialogue that are potentially giving away major moments. So I myself, being obviously a toy nut, I mean, what do you think I was doing last night at 12:01 a.m.?
Online, looking.
Not even, dude. I went old school. I rolled over to Target, and I'm glad I did because There wasn't that many people. There might have been 10 people there, honestly. And I left late because I'm an Ohio State fan, and they're struggling against Indiana, so the game went late, way later than I thought it would. So I didn't even leave my house till 11:50. I'm real close to Target, but I get there about 11:58. There's about 8 people, so I'm like, yeah. But even with 8 people, we more or less cleared out their inventory.
I mean, yeah, ravenous fans, dude. I mean, when you have people,
I spent $250 myself.
There you go. I mean, and then if you look at some of these figures are definitely cool looking. You know, little toys. We have some, you know, some of the new TIE fighters in there. We obviously have some of the new characters as well. We get a look at Snoke and his gold, his pimp gold suit, and then he's on his throne. We got some black X-Wing figure with Poe. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit in here. So, I mean, like, what was your favorite thing that you picked up if you had to take a stab at it?
Ah, man, I'm a real big fan of the Black Series line. And it's for a few reasons. I mean, first of all, I do like taking pictures of toys, as weird as some of you may think that is. It's a very therapeutic experience for me. It allows me to pretend to be an artist. But the Black Series figures, for $20, you get a pretty great sculpt of a figure with somewhat true-to-life looks to the actor, as well as enough points of articulation to actually kind of make it come to life if you are going to pose them or display them or take pictures of them. So, I mean, honestly, the first wave of the TLJs, it encompassed... I mean, dude, Thrawn was in there. So, obviously, that's a fantastic figure to own. Harrison Dula was in there, another great one. You had Jedi Master Luke from TFA. You have Rey in her Jedi training outfit. You have Kylo with his new getup, with more of the cape look. Yeah, I mean, the Black Series definitely was my probably favorite hits. They had a Luke with land speeder. They had a Rey with her speeder, which is, I mean, I grabbed those, obviously. So, fantastic. Plus all the Funko fucking Pops. I mean, obviously, I'm going to get all those. I already got all the Commons, people. Don't give me shit. I got most of the exclusives. I've got the Hot Topic Chase exclusive. Eat it. Going for over 100 on eBay. Get some. That's how I roll. So, dude, Force Friday for me was a success. But quite frankly, I am amazed at these retailers that more or less ignored it.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is such a hot commodity right now.
It's free promotion, dude. I mean, last night in 10 minutes, I spent almost $300, and I was ready to spend more if they had the goddamn inventory.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they're just, they're waiting till it's closer to the release day because they know that, the more casual fan will be on the hype train. You'll get parents out with their kids trying to get the new toys that match the movies and stuff like that. So maybe they're waiting a little bit, but you can never discount the hardcore guys like you and me.
I mean, I'm even talking, they didn't even provide enough stock for the hardcore.
Yeah, that's unforgivable.
I'm just going like, Hasbro, like, did you run out of fucking plastic? I mean, are your plants down? Why do you not just have a shit ton of these things ready to roll at launch?
I don't know.
I mean, there's always going to be, I know you're not a big toy guy, but I mean, I am, and in the community there's things called peg warmers, and these are typically figures that for some reason or other, they're just not adopted by the community, and they're literally on the pegs forever, or the manufacturer made too many. For example, the most recent peg warmers from Rogue One are hands down Jyn Erso and Cassian.
Oh, yeah.
To this day, you'll still find a shitload of those on the pegs, right? Yeah. So that clearly is a mistake. So I understand where they may want to hedge their bet a bit, but dude, I'm telling you, like for Thrawn, where you know he's going to be big. Hera, she's going to be big just because she's random to be included in the main Star Wars figure line. Fucking Luke and Rey and Kylo. I mean, why? How do you not produce enough inventory of those?
Yeah, that's so weird. And like the fact that you said that Jin and Cassian were the two that were kind of hanging out still from the Rogue One set. I can understand that because while they were the central characters, I feel like the one that everybody wanted was probably K2.
Oh,
And then
he was easily the best out of the lot for Black Series. I mean, the K2 Black Series is an example of why their $20 line of 6-inch figures is arguably the best value. Might not the best quality, but easily the best value without that much degradation to the quality. But yeah, I mean, he was phenomenal. And you're right. I mean,
I think when you have those breakout stars like that in the film, they're always going to attract more commerce than, the basic. I don't want to say like the basic, in a bad way, but the regular characters, the regular main characters. Everybody knew Cassian and Jin were going to be big people in this movie, and in Rogue One, but the real breakout was K2. We knew that there was going to be this droid there that was supposed to play this similar droid role to what C-3PO did and R2-D2 did in the original trilogy, but we saw this movie and he was like everyone's favorite character, and it wasn't just because of his shenanigans, it was because he was written and he was acted with such incredible emotion for a character that you usually don't associate emotion with. It was almost more emotional to watch his death scene than it was to watch Cassian and Jin.
Yeah, hey, you nailed it, dude. Without a doubt, was K2SO's sacrifice more emotionally impactful than even Jin and Cassian.
Yeah, so, as a person, like you said, who's not huge into toys, like I actually still do want. I need to go look for a K2 figure because man, that's one of my favorite characters. Like he quickly rocketed up to one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, and he's only been in one film, and he'll only ever be in one film. I mean, it was just such a great portrayal.
And again, that just goes to show you, honestly, how good of a job everyone did on that first standalone movie.
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
Han Solo has a super high bar to achieve.
Yeah,
based on Rogue One.
Absolutely. But anyway, so let's pivot back to these toys we were talking about, and there's one in particular that you brought up to me before we fired the mics up, and it's this, this Black Series 6-inch Rey on crate, which is pretty cool to see. One, because there's a lot of cool little attributes that come with it. You have her blaster pistol, you have a lightsaber that comes with it. She's also holding her bow staff. But two, this pretty much confirms that Rey is going to be on crate, which is something that we really hadn't had hard confirmed yet. So it's a pretty cool little. Little
dude,
drop.
that opens up all sorts of possibilities. Does this mean by the halfway point that she somehow is keyed into what the Resistance is up to and they finally convince her and or Luke that it's time to go? Does she leave Luke on her own to help her friends? Because I think we've pretty much confirmed that Poe's going to be there and Finn. Right? Didn't we see Finn in one of the speeders?
In one of the crate speeders?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a shot within it might have been during the D23 behind the scenes bit.
Okay, yeah. I think we did see him in a cockpit. I'm not.
And it was it was a very desert-ish type of backdrop that we could see through the dome of his cockpit.
Yeah, so that's probably. Crate is probably going to be the only planet that fits that description in this movie.
But
so
I think you're right. Once we get to the tops discussion, I think there's the main battle. It sounds like it is going to potentially start on the ground, or at least it's going to have a ground focus and space focus, just like any good Star Wars battle has.
Definitely. So like you were saying, the way that she gets here. Now, if we go back to episode 5, we can remember that when Luke was training on Dagobah, he had that moment in the training where he leaves.
She may sense that they're in trouble.
Yeah, so do you think it's going to be something similar? Like Luke tells her, I've been here before.
They would both have to sense it, though, right?
I don't know. Because in Empire Strikes Back, it was just Luke. I'm sure Yoda felt it as well, but he didn't vocalize it.
See, no,
Luke
I think
was
you're
like,
right.
I gotta go.
I think you're spot on. I think I mean, if we believe Yoda is like the Mac Daddy of all Mac Daddies of the Force, I'm pretty sure he could sense what Luke was sensing, if only through sensing it through Luke. You know what I mean? Like, and he was good enough, he could essentially read their minds.
Exactly. So he knew what was going on, but he was just, he was calm.
So you're thinking it could be something similar where Luke may be indirectly or directly sensing it through Rey, because she's not quite able to just kind of tune that out and be like, all right, well, yes, that seems like a dire need right now, but the bigger picture is more important, just like Yoda was trying to relate to Luke.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it could be a very similar situation where maybe Luke doesn't leave the island with her when she goes to Creighton. Maybe he's forced off of it in another way. So that would
I don't know. Hey, dude, I mean, from what we've heard about Luke, he's a crotchety old curmudgeon.
Yeah, and I mean, that would give him more reason to just, pull himself back. Like, look, he tells her, like, you don't go. I've been here before. Right. Trust me. I've done this. I've made the same mistake that you've made. Don't do it. And she still goes. And he's like, you know what, man? I can't help these kids. I can't help. Like, the same thing happened with Kylo. It's happening with this girl. So maybe this just isn't my place anymore. Maybe it's not for me to train Jedi. Maybe that's not my calling. And he just, that could lead him down a darker path.
Well, another interesting thing to think about, when you really think about Luke's journey, did him rushing off the Bespin truly fuck over his ultimate goal?
I mean, not in the end, because obviously we're looking back with 2020.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Yoda made a big deal. Obi made a big deal. They're
he doesn't have a hand because of it.
Exactly. I mean, yes, he suffered, dismemberment, but in the end, it almost kind of kicked him in the butt, like in reminding him of, okay, this is your focus, dude. You know it now. This guy is your dad. He is the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy, but there is a chance that you could turn him to your side or at least take him out. Yeah,
and you see, I guess, looking back on, it's so hard to look back on decisions like that, knowing how the entire saga has unfolded so far, and say maybe it was a bad move going to Bespin, because like you said, he lost his hand, but in the end, I mean, we know it all shakes out to be pretty good. But if you think about it, not only did he find out that Vader was his father, which, probably, if you think about it from a standpoint of you're going at an enemy, you want to know as little personal shit about them as possible.
Yeah, he wanted to kill him. I mean, he wanted to kill him.
You don't want anything. You don't want to know if the enemy has a family or has children or anything like that. Your sole focus needs to be on defeating this enemy. So from a tactical standpoint, probably it was a tactical error, because he found out so much information that influenced the way that he thought about, Darth Vader, and, maybe I can save him instead of trying to kill him. But it's such a hard question to answer. And I mean, in the end, we do see that, not only does he find out that Luke's his son, but he also finds out that he's got a sister. He finds out about Leia, and if that fight would have...
A sister.
Yeah, if that fight would have been flipped on his head and Luke loses, now not only is the only surviving Jedi in the galaxy dead, you also know about one of the only possible heirs to that, to that title.
Well, isn't that the ironic thing about that fight, though? Because the moment that Vader understood that Luke had a sister was also the moment that Luke almost started channeling the dark side and was like, oh shit, fuck you, motherfucker, you're not gonna fuck with her. And that's, I mean, he was literally, you gotta remember the end, dude. And this is why still to this day George's change to this scene honestly is, it robbed part of my soul. I am missing part of my soul because of this. Because regardless of what you want to think about Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks and this, that, and the other thing, there is no better emotionally charged scene in the entire Star Wars saga than the battle between Luke and his father as it nears its end.
Oh,
Period. Yeah. Period. No one's going to ever convince me otherwise. I mean, sure, maybe Empire's the best movie of all time, but there is no better scene than Luke and Vader's fight, because it is truly a dance between father and son, and the son trying to navigate both the dark side and the light to redeem his father and turn himself into a Jedi Knight, Jedi Master.
I mean,
it's a thing of beauty.
It is, and you get that moment where, I mean, just the moment before, like you said, before the heresy happened, where it's just Luke is laying there on the ground, defeated. Nothing. There's no way he can save himself. His lightsaber is gone.
Please, Father.
Yeah, and then like just the way Vader's
he
actions,
looks. I mean, he makes that look. He looks at his son. He looks at his God, and he's like, "Enough is enough. God damn it."
I mean, that was one of the most powerful scenes in the entire saga, if not, in
well, just going back to how we got into this, the moment that Luke realizes that he gave up Leia, and he just he clearly taps into the dark side, and he gets the upper hand, and he has his dad down on his back, and he's beating him on the ground almost like his lightsaber's a bat, right?
Yeah.
He chops his hand off, and just as he's ready to just fucking slice through Vader, he's like, what the fuck am I doing? He's like, fuck you, Dad. I'm not as weak as you. I can deny this temptation. I've defeated you. I've defeated the Emperor's manipulations to try to make me replace you. I throw my lightsaber away. Fuck you, Palpatine. My dad is not your fucking slave. And that's what, and then Palpatine's like, all right, suck a dick. And Vader gets up, and you think he's going to be his pet again. But because of what Luke did in those few short moments, and I think really ever since Empire, Vader was like, man, I know I've always fucked up, but now I know I really fucked up, right? When he met his son.
Yeah.
And eventually what Luke did eventually changed one of the most evil men in the galaxy to become the person he was supposed to be. And to me, that is the most beautiful fucking scene in Star Wars. And I don't know why we're talking about it right now, but I love talking about it, and I fucking hate that George ruined it.
Yeah, I agree. But we got here through how did Rey get to Crate? How does Rey get to Crate?
Yeah, and that totally makes zero sense, but that's why it's a Star Wars time show, people. That's what we do.
Baby. That's our specialty.
That was fucking nuts.
Yeah, we went down a
I definitely had my fucking Star Wars soapbox out for that.
You were ready to go, dude.
It kills me. It fucking kills me because, I know you love it just as much as I do, but we're slightly, I wouldn't say we're even generational, but we're far enough apart that I can just tell you when I was a little kid and I would watch that scene, it almost made me cry. Like, I'd think of my own dad and just what happened between him and Luke. I'm like, God damn it. And then they throw in that fucking no bullshit. And it just cheapens it all. Yeah. Vader is already a ruined character thanks to the prequels, but then he had to do that to make it even worse.
I just don't understand the thought process behind it more than anything. Like, you already have that line in the movies. Like, you literally made Vader say that at the end of Episode 3. You don't need it again. Like, the
most powerful part about that scene was that Vader didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It was his look. It literally, I mean, just like you do, you have all the scenes burned in your head. He looks at Luke as Luke is literally ready to expire. And he's just going, Father, please. And then he just quick jerks over to the Emperor. And he's like, fuck it. Blah! Picks him up and is getting electrocuted. He's like, blah! And tosses him. Dude, you don't need to fucking say anything right there. We can see it. George, that scene was shot so well, even for a Star Wars movie, that we didn't need dialogue. The emotion was coming through on a dude who wore a fucking mask.
Yeah, and I mean, you figure for, how many years was that scene perfect before that special edition comes out and wrecks it?
Probably almost 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect for 30 years, and then, you go back and,
it might have been 25 or 26, but, yeah, a lot of fucking time.
I mean, I can understand his desire to put in all of these creatures and stuff like that, because that's his passion. Like, his passion is visual effects. Like, he's been a visual effects guy for a long time. That's what
right, but I think both you and I have always agreed that the changes put into Return of the Jedi are by far the worst.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because they destroy Jabba's palace.
Yeah, God.
And they destroy, again, what I consider to be probably the best scene in the entire Star Wars universe between Luke, Vader, and Palpatine.
Yeah, I just don't know. He got too cutesy. And, you know, like I said, I'm okay with the enhanced explosions. I'm okay with adding some creatures into
I can handle all the bullshit in A New Hope. I mean, I can even handle the ridiculous Han Jabba bullshit.
But yeah, I mean, you don't need to add in like lines. To me, like just leave out lines, leave out entirely new, for some reason, musical numbers that you fucking throw in the
made
movie.
the Muppets. We made the fucking Muppets out of Jabba's palace. I mean, it turned into a goddamn episode of the fucking Muppets.
It was a travesty, but we can always hope. I mean, there's still despecialized editions out there.
Drives me nuts.
I mean,
all right, let's get back on topic. I'm just getting fucking angry. Like, it literally just, it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Sorry. So like we were talking about, Rey on Crate. So once she gets there, do you think this is where she hooks back up with Finn and Poe and they're ready to go?
Yeah, it has to be. And again, we're cheating because we haven't talked about the Tops reveals yet, which we're going to tease you now, people. It's going to be a major spoiler, at least if you don't want to know anything about the movie. But Tops released essentially the descriptions of some of the cards are going to drop for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and the descriptions literally paint a very clear picture of how the plot goes. So based on that knowledge, yes, I do think that she reunites with at least one of these guys, more than likely Finn, because let's be honest, she doesn't have strong ties to Poe. She doesn't really even know Poe, outside of if off-screen they talked after she came back from Starkiller Base, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that we've seen that's really built a relationship between those two, so it would.
So there's a good chance she's going there either because of Finn or Leia. To me, those are the only two characters that are going to convince her to go there. Maybe BB-8 if we want to get that nuts.
Yeah, so she's going to Crate for some reason. Either it's she can sense that the battle is going to go poorly and she feels like she needs to go there and save them, or she can just see like this is a pivotal moment in the battle between the First Order and the Resistance.
If you look at the stand, though, does that almost not imply that she either has a fight by a walker or a vehicle, or she takes out a walker or a vehicle?
I mean, it's a pretty heroic pose that she's in right here. I mean, we're looking at this image. Obviously, it's a posed image with the toy.
Well, just the fucking base itself, that's everything. Who cares about her pose? I mean, the base itself, to me, I don't know if that's a walker foot, but it definitely looks like it's some sort of huge part from a vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would kind of fit, right? Luke took down an AT-AT by himself in the beginning of Episode 5.
I mean, it's not far-fetched that someone with Force abilities can take down a walker or a ship or a speeder.
Yeah, so I think she could do it.
And just based on TFA sets that were like this, they were all from scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I just think that the fact that they, A, mentioned Crate, B, painted it red, and C, have some sort of busted-ass vehicle engine or a foot, there's a good chance that Rey is going to be involved in taking something out.
Yeah, for sure.
By herself, more than likely.
So, anything else from this set?
Not really. I mean, a lot of the other stuff it's kind of common knowledge and just representations of figures we've already known about.
Yeah, I mean, you have some. Cool
I mean, the Kylo Deluxe, like the Rey Deluxe, it has him on like a throne room floor. So to me, that's probably just obviously he's going to be talking with Snoke.
Yeah. And
Snoke's going to be in a throne room because we have seen a Snoke figure sitting on a throne.
Yep. I mean, we have Kelly Marie Tran's character Rose.
Those are all the 3 3/4 inch figures. There's a Rose, her sister Paige has a figure. There's a Poe. There's a 3PO, a Rey, a Luke, a Stormtrooper. But as far as like reveals, I think what we talked about were the big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray on Crate to me really stood out. I was like, oh, I'm surprised they kind of let that riff, because it's not like from what we've seen, it looked like Ray was all on Acto at least.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this is something that like I found interesting to be released in this time period, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me trying to make stuff up in my head or whatever, but we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Spirit black figure.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I mean, it's styled after Old Ben.
Old Ben, yeah. But still,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's an
you're right.
interesting time to kick
You're
that
right.
out.
You're right.
Especially considering, all the speculation around who's going to be a Force ghost in this movie, who's dead that's going to play some sort of part. Is it going to be Yoda?
Well, I mean, dude,
Anakin?
I mean, again, if we go back to TFA, who gets the most clear line in Rey's vision?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, he's the one, when I first heard him, like, whoa. That was Old Ben, and he directly called her Rey and something about first something. I didn't really catch it all because I was still, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs during my first screening. But, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested to see what comes out of this Force Tree stuff, but that's another thing to just mention offhand. We have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Spirit 6-inch black figure also dropped.
Yeah, it's going to be a Walgreens exclusive. I mean, it looks pretty cool, but I think Nick's right. I mean, it is kind of curious timing. He is very styled after the original trilogy, but so was his Force Ghost in Empire and Jedi, so it's not like Force Ghosts are going to change their appearance.
Exactly.
Outside of fucking Anakin, who changed his fucking appearance because of George Lucas.
Yeah. So alright, if we do get an Obi-Wan Force Ghost, do you think it's possible that it's a silent ghost and they just use the footage from Episode 6? Do you think they could just drop it in and then not have him say anything?
No. I think they would CGI it based on Alec Guinness and have Ewan provide the vocals.
That would be interesting, and then just kind of like tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, kind of pitch it up or hit some settings, because the interesting thing about the line delivered in Force Awakens, it was a combination of the two.
Yeah, because they
used old dialogue to craft Rey, but then I think Ewan said, these are your first steps.
Yeah, exactly. They took, her name came from Alec Guinness saying afraid, and they just cropped out the word Rey from that, and that's how they got her name. It would be cool, though, to see if they did something like that, because I think it could have good effect. Especially, I mean, like, Alec Guinness has such an iconic voice, though, that I think us hardcore fans, we would look at it and we would know, I mean, obviously it's not him talking, but we would be able to even pick out the slightest tone differences.
No, I agree, but you'd think at this point, if they can almost damn near flawlessly recreate Peter Cushing.
That's true. That's a good point.
I would hope that they could do something with a voice.
Yeah.
Because to me, that sounds way more doable than a full-on visual representation of a human.
I mean, like literally bringing somebody back from the dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they could work that over. I mean, you never know. I mean, the more I think about it, if you think about the last time we saw Ewan as Obi was in 2005. So that's about 12 years, which to me would almost be an ideal time to pick up the main bulk of an Obi-Wan standalone. Is 12 years post what Obi-Wan would have looked like in Episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, it gives him time to age a little bit.
Right. Luke's an adolescent.
Yep.
I mean,
it would be a solid
I still agree with what you said. It'd still be cool to see stuff very immediate where maybe he was potentially being hunted by the 501st or something. But I think if they're going to settle into the long game, that 10 to 12 years out is almost perfect.
Yeah, that's a
because then
really
we can get
good
interactions with the Lars family and Luke when he's 10, 11, 12 and going into his teens.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
All right, dude. So let's get off the toys and kind of move into some of the other things we want to talk about. We got a new cover from looks like a
Empire magazine.
There's Empire, and it also looks like a Hispanic magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Cinemania Mozomania.
Yeah, I can't see because it's behind Luke's head, but...
Yeah, where you get a shot of Luke in his, what we're calling kind of his daddy homage gear.
Yeah, his dark, almost like a dark Jedi.
It's very dark. It's not black, but it's very, very, very dark brown. It's not a traditional robe or cape. It's more like a half poncho type of look. But really, and this is stuff Nick and I have talked about because it's been brought up before, but the article kind of went in and talked to Mark Hamill, the actor, and he just kind of stressed again, like, I understood why I was kind of not using The Force Awakens. It was a bummer that I didn't get to act with any of the classic actors. But to set up the new trilogy, I get it. But he's like, going into episode 8 and knowing how much involved my character of Luke is going to be, he needed to know what has happened in the past, what is it, Nick? Almost 30, 40 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking...
Since Jedi, and what turned this once farm boy, wannabe Jedi to Jedi Master into someone that is literally ignoring a galactic conflict and hanging out on an island with fucking porgs and these other fish-like nuns.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstory to be covered, and we talked about it a little bit on previous casts. And this is just, again, him talking about how he had to have this session with Rian Johnson. Like, dude, you have to catch me up because, like you said, it's been 30 plus years, 35 plus years. You need to let me know what's happened to this character so I can be in the right mindset. And clearly, him being in the right mindset is a key part of his character in this film. He can't just pick up as the chipper farm boy who just destroyed the Galactic Empire. He has to be this new, darker, this damaged Luke, and he needs to understand where that pain's coming from. And that was a very big part of not only preparing for the role,
here's a telling line. Here's a telling line. I had to crack this, and it had to be something for me that first and foremost made sense. Why did Luke Skywalker go off to this island? That was a starting point, and that's what the entire movie explores, and that excites me.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
it's...
I mean, in the end, dude, I love Rey. I love Finn. I love Poe. I think they made the great introductions. But in the end, being old school guys, do you not want to learn more about our characters?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in the end, do you not want to learn more about our characters?
I mean, it's such a cool time in Star Wars history because you have this new generation of characters that are being, iconized. I guess you would say iconized is not really a word, but they're being risen and put on a pedestal for all of the kids that are now just getting into Star Wars. And Rey, Finn, and Poe,
which I love. I think it's great. I mean, I love that a female is basically Luke and she's tip top. But again, to us, dude, we know our three.
Yeah, and for us, we're in this transitionary period where we're getting to see the ending of the story to all of these characters that we grew up loving, and there's just so much to cover with them in such a short amount of time because we know we only have 2 movies left, and we know one of our characters has already died in the film universe, that's Han Solo, and we know that another is shortly coming with Princess Leia, and now we're pretty much hinging on Luke. And all of the old school guys like you, me, people listening to this podcast, we crave more information about these characters that we grew up loving, and it's almost going to be hard to see them exit the saga. I mean, what's going to be left? I mean, we're just going to have to embrace the new, and I'm pretty sure we're all ready to, but it's going to be difficult to see all of the characters that are so dear in our hearts kind of move away and take back seats, if not, pass on the franchise.
Yeah, so I didn't really find the Luke stuff this week to be mind-blowing. I did like the clear shot at his brown Jedi robes, if you will. But I do like that kind of promise that we are going to get a look into why Luke is the way he is. Because as Ryan talks about and Mark Hamill talks about, that really is the crux of this movie. We kind of ignored Luke all through TFA to set up everything else. But now that we found the guy that supposedly is really the only hope of the Resistance, we naturally have to learn about why he has been essentially ignoring this galactic conflict.
Yeah. So how do you think that we're going to get most of this information? Do you think it's going to come
It's going to be between him and Rey. It's
Rey.
all coming out through their interactions.
Yeah, I would imagine
There's
so
no
too.
doubt about it. Like, I think once she gets him to open up, she's naturally going to ask him about why he's there and what happened. I think that's where we're going to get the reveal about Ben's betrayal and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But I think most of Luke's past will come through conversations with Rey.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I agree. I think there might, if there is a meeting between Leia and Luke in this movie, we might also get some more backstory that's pertinent to the Solo Skywalker line than, just his general what happened. So maybe more about exactly what went down with Kylo. More, maybe you even get some thoughts about what happened to Han from Luke. But I think you're right. I think we're going to get most of it on Acto. So let's see. So now that we have all of this stuff that we're talking about with Luke, I'm trying to think of where the best, where it would be best for him to kind of reveal this stuff, and who, other than Rey he could talk to, what kind of information that he could spill to her, and when would be the opportune time. Because like you said, this isn't going to come right away. This is going to come when, after she's broken down his wall, the barrier that he has up in front of himself that he's hid behind for God knows how long he's been in exile. But eventually, I think it's going to come through the training, and that's probably where she's going to really kind of get to know the Luke that we've all known for a long time, is through the training and through those reps that he's going through with her. Because not only, she's not going to be the only one that's going to get something from this training. It's going to be him, too. He's going to come back into the fold, and then through training with her, he's going to realize, maybe I don't have to be this hermit like I've been for X amount of years. I can come back and I can feel comfortable again in my skin. I can feel comfortable again in, maybe not a big position, but a position to where he's, comfortable and he can help the Resistance instead of just sitting on an island.
No, I agree. I mean, I think we even talked about that when we broke down the Entertainment Weekly articles, and that how they're both clearly going to have a symbiotic relationship, just like midichlorians in themselves. Between each other, that they're both going to help each other discover what they need to move on.
Yeah, I think it's
I think Rey's going to learn about her past through Luke, and I think we're going to learn about Luke's past through Rey.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I think it's going to come after she shows that she has potential, because I think that's something that he wants to see, is like, is she even worth training? And then when she finally does show him, like, I have potential to be a great Jedi or a great Force user, that's when he's going to start giving her the respect that she yearns for.
True that. All right, so I think it's, what do you think, time to move on to the main deal here, even though we've already talked for damn near an hour on a bunch of random shit.
Yeah, I mean, we can hit the story that prompted this early podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we had a reason to do all this, people, but as you can tell, Nick and I can pretty much bullshit forever about Star Wars. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. But Nick found this today. It was on Esquire, and, it's Force Friday 2, even though it really is Force Friday the 3rd. But anyways, a lot of stuff's coming out, and toys can't expose stuff. I mean, we talked about 2 weeks ago this BB-8 playset that had some Snoke dialogue that might reveal some stuff. And Nick, I actually have seen it, and I don't know. I mean, the connections I was making, it may be a little bit of a stretch now, because it literally was just BB-8, and you open it up, and the inside is literally all First Order backgrounds and shit. So
okay, gotcha.
I don't know if it's just because it's BB-8 and hey, here you go. I mean, why wouldn't they use BB-9E, who is the new First Order BB droid. Who knows? But I've seen it. Who knows? It could still stand up. But anyways, with these toys, there are potentials for spoilers. But according to this report, Nick, Topps, who are makers of cards, I mean, depends what era you were born, but cards used to actually be pretty cool. I mean, someone that grew up in the 80s, I collected the living shit out of baseball cards.
Yeah, my dad used to give, if me and my brother did really good in school, he would give us like mint edition football cards and stuff. So I have like a Jim Mint Brett Favre card that's like in a sealed case.
Oh, like, yeah. I was all into that shit, dude. I mean, I have Ricky Henderson rookie. I mean, I love that stuff. So cards were awesome way back then. I mean, now a lot of cards are being replaced with digital cards. I mean, there's a top Star Wars app just for getting cards, which is, I mean, it's cool. They look cool and they're interactive, but there's still something about getting physical little pieces of cardboard. But anyways, it's Force Friday, so Star Wars The Last Jedi products are rolling out to retail stores, and the Topps cards are going out, and they released a checklist for the available cards to collect, which I think range from 91 to 110, so not many. But at least those cards, when you read their descriptions, they provide a very clear Cliff's Notes style summary of The Last Jedi's plot.
Yeah, so for all you people out there who've been waiting for the spoilery type moments, if you don't want to hear anything that could be considered a spoiler for Last Jedi, now is your time. You can cut the cast off here, mute it, fast forward to the end to hear us sign off, whatever you want to do. But this is where we're going to get into some possible plot spoilers / general overall kind of arcing synopsis of what this movie could have within it. So, spoiler alert, let's get it going. So, number 91, the very first one that we see is called Rey's Solitude, and like you said,
again,
Matt,
I mean, I know these are
110.
basic descriptions, but it doesn't leave much to the imagination, right?
No, I mean, Rey's Solitude is literally like she's on this island and Luke is not interacting with her,
which we have heard happens. We've heard this is gonna happen.
Yeah, so 91, very clear. 92, General Leia Organa. I mean, again, it's just Leia's name, but
she's
if we're
probably thinking about of what happened to Han and her son, and Rey's away, but she knows where Luke's at, so what's our next move, right?
Yep, exactly. Now, the way that I kind of described these to you before we even fired up the cast or before we even decided to do it is I think that these are most closely likened to DVD chapter titles. If you've ever read the back of a DVD or a Blu-ray or looked at the chapter list, you can see that the names of the chapters kind of give you a breakdown of like what is happening in this chapter, and it's kind of like a semi-plot synopsis. So that's kind of where we're going here. 93, Rey and her lightsaber. So what do you think about that wording, her lightsaber?
She is getting the Skywalker family lightsaber. Whether people want to like that or not, that is hers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fucking selling it. You can buy it right now, the Master Effects. It's called Rey's lightsaber, but it is the fucking Skywalker family lightsaber.
So is this all but confirming that Luke is going to have his own lightsaber in this film, some way or somehow?
Well, yeah, I mean...
What's a Jedi without a lightsaber? I mean,
exactly, but it also sounds like... he's so disgusted in how he failed. I mean, maybe he cast this shit aside. And again, you and I have talked about, like, did he pick up his hilt from Return of the Jedi? Because he clearly tosses it.
Yeah. You know what would be badass is, like we were talking about with her going to Crate. If, like, she goes off to Crate, leaves him on this island, and then he realizes after a little bit, like, okay, I can't just let her go. I need to get up and I need to go. And then he like puts together a lightsaber himself on the island, and we get that ignition. Like he ignites it and then it cuts. Oh man, that would be so satisfying.
Hey, that's why we should be writing these fucking movies, dude. I mean, that to me was brilliant.
I mean, I think it would be a pretty powerful scene. But okay, so Rey and her lightsaber. Now this is a pretty quick transition from what we assumed was going to be, you know, acts 1 and 2 of the movie to now with number 94 is on Crate. So maybe we're not hitting exactly the order of events with this list of cards, but that is another pretty big indication of, where a major scene is going to take place.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. And considering what we were just talking about, there's a good chance she's already there somehow. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just like an early scene that's going to set up this battle that's going to take place. And to me, that almost seems like it has to be the case, considering it's that early on in the movie, right? I mean, do you think that she's going to be dropping training by the fourth chapter?
I don't know, man. That seems like it's a very quick kind of move. I would imagine that there's going to be 4 chapters of her just not doing shit, like trying to convince him, like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Me.
So, like, is she on her way there by then, or are we just getting a tease of why Crate is going to be an important location in The Last Jedi? Like, they're going to be setting up future plot points.
So, like,
maybe the First Order or maybe the Resistance, this is where their base is at now.
Yeah. So this is like, could Crate be the new Hoth, where like that's
exactly
where a secret
like
Resistance base is?
Is that where the Resistance went to after TFA?
Yeah, that's a good call. I think that could definitely be something like that. Because if you think about it, we're going from, Rey on the island. We get a little look at Leia. We don't know where she's at. We're just kind of catching up with her character. More Rey with her lightsaber, and then we transition to Resistance mode. We're now on Crate, the secret base, and then after that, number 95 is rushing to attack. Who do you think that's referencing?
I mean, that again could be Rey, just doing what Luke did.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen in the trailer that part where she's running, lightsaber ignited.
Yeah,
ready.
Like she knows something, and just like Luke was like, "Yo, whatever. I get it, but I have this strong pull to go help my friends."
Yeah, I think that's a good call. It could definitely be Rey again. Could be Poe trying to get out somewhere. We know that he was on some sort of frigate when it came under attack and his X-Wing was destroyed with BB-8, so maybe he was going out into some sort of battle and he was, trying to get there in a hurry. Who knows? 96 is Finn's recovery, so this seems like this might be taking a step back from 95. So do you think that whatever the rushing to attack is would happen before we even get Finn in recovery? I think that would be a little weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's where this kind of it starts to fall apart, doesn't it? Like, are these truly in order?
Yeah, I don't think
or are they just cards of scenes, and that's just how they're numbered, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think we would be touching with Finn within the first 2 chapters, right? Do you not think that they're going to, if you understand what movie chapters are, people, that's like, it could be, what do you think, Nick? Anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of footage?
10 minutes is like an extremely long chapter, too.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, like, you're talking 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah.
Are we really going to wait almost an hour before Finn's even introduced? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, especially considering the breadth of his arc in this movie. I mean, we know that he's going to be, he comes out of recovery and he has all of
doesn't really want to be in the Resistance, but Rose kind of has this hero worship with him and convinces him, or by some sort of outside factors, they have to go on this mission to Canto Bight to find DJ. So, yeah, I mean, I think Finn has to be at least checked in upon within the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you not only have the trip to Canto Bight, you have whatever they're going to be doing with the infiltration mission into the First Order. We've seen screenshots of that. And then we also presumably have him on Crate,
Yeah,
for
I'm pretty
this
sure
big
he's on
showdown.
Crate too.
Yeah, so I mean, to bring him in that late into the movie would not give a lot of time to let his arc
So
develop.
as it gets down to it, dude, do you think Crate, as we've kind of discussed, do you think that is the potentially final showdown location?
I think it is, right? I mean,
there's probably going to be some space scenes, but it sounds like if we're going to get any type of ground major climax battle, it's probably going to be Crate.
Yeah, I think so. And it's just so weird because, I mean, in my head, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to liken it to Empire because that's where your mirror is supposed to be for this film. And, like, the big ground battle for Empire happened within literally, like, the first scenes of the movie. And to have Crate be, like, this final battle, like the climax of Episode 8 would definitely shift around the line a little bit, shift around the plot points from those two movies. Do you even think it's possible that Crate is like the opening? We get like a Hoth-like battle with Crate where you come in to the First Order finding the Resistance base, battle on Crate.
I think the only thing that throws a wrench into that is that fucking Rey toy.
True, yeah.
That, I mean, again, that's why I shared him. Like, this to me is kind of curious.
Yeah, because she would have to. I mean, like, if it was to happen that early, you're right.
Because everyone else's base, any figure that's coming out in that style, they have a base that makes sense. Luke's is fucking rocks with moss on it.
Yep.
Kylo's is the throne room floor. So to me, if they're going to release a Rey on Crate, the motherfucker's going to be on Crate.
Yeah, it would make no sense to have that otherwise. It's a good point. And it would definitely be weird to, like, have her leave the island, go do this battle, and then come back. Like, that just doesn't seem like it would happen.
Yeah, so there could be a chance that these are slightly out of order, at least early on. I think the latter ones probably do make sense as far as a timeline goes.
Yeah, so 97 is Poe responds. We could probably start going through them a little quicker. 97, Poe responds. 98, the Fury of Kylo Ren. 99,
I think 98's interesting. I think that could provide some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Kylo has gone. It's going to go through.
Where's this
crazy
Fury being directed? Is this maybe him finding Acto? Because I don't know if we talked about this last time, but supposedly there was something that came out that the First Order can track hyperspeed or light speed.
Okay, yeah, I remember
and that
hearing
may
about
be
that.
how they find Acto, because clearly the Falcon jumped to get there.
Yeah. See, I would think, and you remember we were talking about this space battle. Like, we're going to get to it in a little bit with these cards, but, like, this space battle, I think one of the first things that we assumed is, like, there's a space battle that's happening over Acto. Like,
yeah, so it's probably over Crate.
Yeah, I would imagine it's, I mean, they could be separate, though, right? Maybe not. Yeah.
So next one, Shards of the Past. That could be honestly a retrospective into Luke,
Force
Ben,
Cave,
Rey.
Force Tree. Yeah.
I mean, anything with shards in it. I mean, that could be that. I think that's going to be a pretty telling sequence of events.
Yeah, for sure.
Luke's
100.
grim perspective.
Yeah, Luke's grim perspective.
That's basically him saying, "Hey, Rey, we're all fucked, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, look, I've been
Fuck
here
it.
before.
Let's just hang out with the porgs and fucking live free and be happy."
Exactly. Like, he's been in this fight before. It doesn't matter. It's like, I beat the
like,
Empire.
fuck
Guess
it.
what happened? It all came back.
He's like, you know what? I fucking recreated the Empire. I suck. You suck. Everyone sucks. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's like, I'm on this island for a
I'm
reason.
Luke. Peace.
Let me hang out with my penguin friends.
I love it. I love that. Luke's grim perspective.
But I mean, that's gonna be the big hurdle for him. Is like, that's his big character moment.
Yeah, he's
is
a
coming
fucking
over
Oscar the Grouch, and why is he that way, and how's he gonna get over it?
Yeah.
Or does he get over it? I mean, who knows?
Number 101, ski.
That's right
speeder
from the
assault.
trailer. I mean, that's right from the trailer, I think.
Yeah, that's referring to the land speeders on Crate. You think?
Yeah,
then?
kicking up the red dust, right?
Yep.
And then
number
clearly it
102.
leads right into the other scene we see.
Yep, 102, walkers incoming. I mean, you could see that literally in the... Like, when those land speeders come in, if you look off in the distance of that shot, you can see the legs of the walkers. Walkers incoming, number 102. Clearly, those are sequenced shots.
You know, in the end, I don't think this shit spoils a goddamn thing.
No. I don't
These
think
are just fucking descriptions of card scenes.
Yeah, I mean...
That's it.
It's not like it's
it.
we didn't know these things were coming. I mean...
I know. I mean, you kind of scared me, so I was afraid to look, but the more I've been looking at and thinking about it, these are just goddamn descriptions of a fucking picture. Yeah.
I mean, we know... If you've kept up with anything that's come out so far... If you've seen
Shards
the
of the
trailer,
past, guarantee they're looking at some sort of shard. Fury of Kylo Ren, guarantee it's Kylo going ham with his lightsaber. Finn's recovery, guaranteed it's Finn with his fucking pod when the doors open. I mean, there you go.
Yep. 103, 104, 105 all center around the Resistance. 103 is the Resistance. 103, the Resistance X-Wing. 103 was
again,
Resistance
pictures
for X-Wing.
of the Resistance. A picture of an
A-Wing.
X-Wing, a picture of an A-Wing.
Yep. 106, the battle commences.
A picture of a battle.
There we go. So that's... You think that's the space battle or the ground battle? I mean, we just talked about the flying ships here, so it's probably space battle.
It fits for either one, really.
107.
107 clearly is the space battle.
Frigates under fire. Yep. 108, the Resistance versus the First Order.
Space battle.
And 109, the Millennium Falcon flees.
End of the space battle. And the picture I see right in my mind right now is the tail end of the Falcon's Crescent Moon engine.
Yep. And 110, Heroes United.
A very similar shot to the end of Empire, where at least the mains are looking out into space, wondering how they're going to overcome the odds.
Yeah. I mean...
Done.
So, all of this...
Yeah, it's
maybe
bullshit.
not,
The more I looked at it, I'm like, this ain't fucking... It's A, common sense, and B, it's not spoiling a damn thing. Just so we proved, like, this on crate is coming in at 94, but there's no way that's happening before Finn. So, I mean, these are just goddamn picture explanations.
Yeah, I mean, and these are all plot beats and plot points that we all already knew were coming. I mean, especially if you've been keeping up with, you know, even the official releases, like the trailer, the planetary.
If it said
names.
Leia meets with Snoke, then okay, yeah, whoa. I mean, we know Matt took that to the bank possibly, but hey, he's not the creator. I mean, yeah, that would have been a shock, but the more you look at it, the more it's like, okay, yeah. This is basically what I do when I release my toy photography. I try to think of a little description.
Yeah, and if you think
that's
about
all they are.
You know, I think the big thing that everybody was, you know, calling as a spoiler is like we know the battles. Like, look at these are the two major battles that are going to be focused on. The battle on Crate with the, you know, the ski speeders and the walkers incoming, and then the battle in the sky with the X-Wing and the A-Wing.
Dude,
but
I don't mean to cut you off. read what this idiot wrote after the last bullet.
What can we...
Yeah, it looks like the film will focus around two major battles. The first one presumably ends in the First Order's defeat. What? Hence the fury of Kylo Ren? Are you serious?
I mean,
you think Kylo only gets upset if the First Order loses?
No,
the guy he's perpetually pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to open this movie in a furious storm of anger because of what happened to him at the end.
I mean,
of
did this
7.
guy not watch The Force Awakens? He had 2 temper tantrums where he destroyed probably a couple 100,000 Republic credits or whatever credits they have now worth of equipment.
Yeah, just over nothing. Oh,
yeah.
What girl just pulls this dude over, fucking almost chokes him to death, pulls out his lightsaber and destroys that whole console? The kid has anger issues. That's something we know. So like you said, if you think his fury is coming from a defeat in a ground battle against the Resistance, there are many other reasons.
It's going to be
that
personal frustration.
Oh,
it's going to have nothing to do with the First Order.
Personally, when I saw the fury of Kylo Ren, the first thing I thought about is just pure self-loathing. Like, he's going to hate himself. Yeah.
Him being pissed at something.
Like, it's just so for the writer of this article to assume that his fury is coming from that battle is just so misplaced. Definitely.
This guy did his job. I mean, he fucking clickbaited the living shit out of us.
He did.
In the end, that's what this is, and I guess it comes from Digital Spies, the original. So they're all just clickbait motherfuckers. Fuck this shit.
But I mean, it gave us some good speculation.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to talk about, but in the end, it was a fucking sham.
And not to mention, like, every Star Wars movie you've ever seen has the same formula for the battles. There is a ground battle of some sort, whether it be between, an army or between a few people, and there's a space battle that's happening at almost the same time. Like, with the only exception to that is Episode 2, where at the end you have the Battle of Geonosis that's happening. There is no aerial battle that's happening. It's all on the ground, and then so you have the war between the two sides, and then you also have the secondary battle, which is between Anakin and Dooku, and then we have the Yoda-Dooku fight. We have the Obi comes in and stuff too. I mean, like, those are the two battles that are juxtaposed to each other rather than a space battle and a ground battle that's, in pretty much every other movie. So, yeah, I mean, looking at this is not anything. If you know Star Wars, if you've seen Episode 7, and if you've kept up with the releases that have come out, the official releases just from Disney and Lucasfilm, you could assume a lot of these things yourself. It's not really spoilers.
Hey, this just in, everyone. X-Wings are coming to Star Wars Rebels in Season 4. It's pretty neat.
That is going to be pretty cool.
They have not been featured yet. Y-Wings have, and I even think A-Wings.
X-Wing is definitely the most iconic ship.
The new introduce.
That's going to be nice. But yeah, I mean, I think that we hit all the points. I think that about wraps it up for all the new news that came out this week. Is there anything else you wanted to drop, sir?
I don't think so. Besides, if you guys ever just want to send me money to fuel my toy addiction, you can PayPal me at JediMatt@gmail.com.
If you've ever seen Matt's photography, he deserves to be paid for it. This dude has some of the sickest toy photography I've ever seen in my life.
I'm getting there, dude. That's too kind of you. I mean, some of the people that I look up to just make me look like a noob, but yeah, it's been fun. But it's very expensive. And today being Force Friday was a reminder that I have a severe problem that needs addressed at one point in life before my family ends up in debtor's prison.
I mean, I think the thing for me is, like, I saw when you first started this, like, when you first started taking these pictures and you messaged me, you're like, dude, look at this.
No,
and just
there's
like
a progression.
The progress, like the incredible amount of progress that you've made.
That's what I've been trying to tell some of these people. It's like, I literally do shoots at least once a week just because I'm addicted to trying new things and getting better. And I literally have over 800 shots that need edited, that I want to release, that I have thought have been good enough from thousands of shots whittled down. But yeah, it's just with anything in life, I always take it to the nth degree.
People listening, follow Haywood Pop on Instagram.
Please.
The man knows what he's doing with pictures.
Makes me feel better about spending all this money on toys.
Yeah, I mean, you've been getting a lot of buzz, though, dude. I remember when your pictures were getting, like, 3 likes, 4 likes. Now you're up to, like, 300, 250, 300, 400 likes.
Yeah,
on the regular.
I do all right. But with any things, I'm humble, but in the same times, I still think I should be better. I think more people should like me, just like I think more people should listen to us, because I do think we do a good job, and I think we know our shit, and I think we are somewhat entertaining in our delivery, and we keep things flowing. But hey, what do I know? We're happy. We have at least 1,000 people we know for a fact download and listen to this show on a monthly basis, and that to me makes me feel good, buddy. So I think that's it. We'll probably be coming back again within a week because our regularly scheduled program is for next Friday. Unless there is 0 Star Wars to talk about, I'm pretty sure we'll fire up the mics and record another cast. So thanks for tapping into this special edition of the Star Wars Time Show. Maybe one day we'll be doing weekly shows anyways, and they won't be special anymore. But either way, we appreciate you as fans. You make our force power stronger. Midichlorians for life. And as we always do about this time, we would like to wish you a happy Force Friday. And don't forget that we want the Force to be with you always.
entertainmentbuddha.com.